Alright guys, today I'm going to share with you a quick and simple Iron Hills recipe. So as I was saying in my last painting video, the one where I do the batch painting, I like to incorporate as much of the model into the base layer as possible, and lucky for me, Iron Hills are almost entirely silver, so it makes sense to start with a metallic base layer. So let's get right into it, shall we? So the first thing I do is turn to my handy spray stick here. It's just a bit of MDF glued to the top of a jam jar. I then attach some double-sided sticky tape just to hold the models in place. I try not to overload it, but if I can get them all on, I will squeeze them all in, so I don't have to do multiple spray sessions, which is great if you're a lazy bastard like me. So I've gone with Gunmetal from Army Painter, mainly just because it was the only one I could get my hands on at the time. I feel with Army Painter sprays, you need to make sure you got the right conditions, otherwise they can go a bit weird. And luckily enough, we got a good day today. I don't know what it is about Army Painter sprays, but I find they smell a bit weird, almost sweet. First things first is to give the miniature an all-over wash of Nuln Oil. Not only does this give the model nice shading, it also makes all the other details much easier to see and pick out for later painting. As you can see, this has given the miniatures a lovely nice matte finish. I don't think I would ever paint metallics without giving them a matte wash. I think it gives a much more realistic approach, no matter what colour you use. Now, you could edge highlight all the miniatures here, but that would take absolutely forever. I'm going to give them an all-over dry brush, which I think works just as well. Now up next is Rhinox Hide for all the brown. There's quite a lot to do, and again I did film my hand here, so I do apologise. You'd think I'd learn by now. Brown includes the face and the beard, if it's going to be a brown beard, the leather straps, scabbard, belts, boots and boot straps, and spear, and also the non-metallic part of the shield will be brown too. The Rhinox Hide layer is the most annoying, as there's a lot of intricate little details you need to pick out. And when you're painting multiple miniatures, it can take quite some time. The reason I do the base as well with Rhinox is so that if I miss any parts with the PVA glue, it won't look silver, it will look brown. Now for the trousers, there's only a couple of poses for the Iron Hills that actually show the insides of the trouser legs, but if they do, I give them a coat of Mechanicus Grey and then a Nuln Oil wash. You will hardly see these, so you don't need to go crazy on them. Next up was the gold. I don't normally like painting metallics, but I quite enjoyed the gold element on the Iron Hills because it's simple stripes down the armour. I just copied whatever the Games Workshop models had done. You can kind of tell what needs to be gold by the pattern on the armour. They all look rather similar. The only other gold element was the sword that is in the scabbard. I used Retributor armour for the base layer. I then give the gold part of the armour a right clan shade wash. You do need to be quite careful here when using this wash that you don't accidentally get it on the silver armour already done. If you do, just use a bit of kitchen paper to suck it up. I then move on to a dry brush of Liberator Gold. If you've been following me a while, you will have seen this recipe multiple times. The only thing I really change between recipe is the different colours of wash that I may use. I then use Murnfang Brown to give all the leather an edge highlight. I did give the base rim a coat of Murnfang Brown here, which I shouldn't have done. I usually do this after I apply the basing material, as it tends to get quite dusty, so ignore this step. This might not seem necessary, but I always believe faces and bases make the miniatures look a lot better. So make sure to give the little bits of skin visible a little touch of Cadian Flesh Tone, which I then gave a wash of Reichland Flesh Tone. To make things faster, I would do the Cadian Flesh just after doing the Retributor armour, so you only have to use the Reichland Flesh shade once. Apologies, I forgot to film it, but I give all the leather an Agrax Earthshade wash. This really tones it down after the highlight. It also gives the leather a nice matte finish. Now for the base, the first thing I do is give it a coating of PVA glue before dunking it into Geek Gaming patchy planes. I try to dunk it in an area that has less of the big boulders so it looks better for the scale. And as you can see, the rim has got quite dusty, so make sure to give that a wipe. So this is where I would usually give the base rim a coat of Moonfang Brown. And while that's drying, I do highlight up the areas with Moonfang Brown again, followed by mixing Flayed One Flesh into the Moonfang and giving it another final edge highlight. This just really helps make the nice details pop. So as these Iron Hill miniatures are pretty monotone, silver, browns and gold, to give them a bit of colour, I give them a lot of nice green vibrant tufts. I go 2mm and 4mm static grass tufts, lots of different colours, nice and vibrant. It really helps the miniature stand out and come to life despite the kind of monotone paint scheme. Then, as I always say, don't judge a model on its own. Put it into the group and see how you feel. So we'll just pop this bad boy in with his pals, and I think it's turned out quite nicely. Let me know if you would be happy with these in the comments. Now before I show you how you do the goats, I want to stress the importance of doing the faces and bases to a good standard. Although it seems like such an insignificant little detail, if you can tag the little lip and the two cheekbones with some Canadian flesh and give it a nice matte flesh tone wash before highlighting it up with one or two extra layers, I think it adds so much to the miniature. As you can see for this test one here, I do think it really catches your eye when you make the effort on the faces. Even if you were to just pick out the lower lip with Canadian flesh tone and leave it at that, it would add so much more to the miniature than not doing it at all. Right, now on to the goats. As you can see, I've already finished the boy on top, and I've used Retributor armour to highlight the gold details on the goat. So the first thing I want to do is, just like the warriors, give the gold trim a nice coating of Reichland flesh tone. Next up, it's to get the whole goat covered in Rhinox hide. Everything bar the silver armour on the goat, which has already been done in the exact same manner as the warriors on top. This includes the base, the fur, the leather straps, the saddle and the horns. Next we give the goat fur and body an all-over coating of Steel Legion drab. For the horns, we can see Forge World have painted these lightest in the middle, so what I do is give them a light dry brush of Steel Legion drab as well. The dry brush will get stronger towards the middle of the horns to give that transition effect. Again, just the same as the guy on top, for the leather we are going to use Moonfang Brown for the first layer. This has been used on the harness and the saddle. It's then time to drench the entire goat in Agrax Earthshade. You want to get everything nice and coated here. And as that's going to take a long time to dry, I thought I would do the base at the same time, so they'll both dry together. This will speed up on the overall time it takes to finish the models. I made a mistake here. I should have done the base first, as because the Agrax Earthshade is wet, you can get the basing material stuck to the goat, and I had to sweep it off a bit. So if you're going to do it the same as me and do them at the same time, make sure to do the base first so you don't get any basing material stuck to the goat. Now we give all the goat fur a dry brush of Flayed One Flesh. This will help pick out all the different hairs and it will give a really nice finish to the goat. Then we move on to the horns with the Flayed One Flesh, and again, a really light dry brush, but gets heavier towards the middle of the horn to give that lovely transition effect we're after. Then it's time for the final highlights. I just use Moonfang Brown on all the leather again, just to pick out the edges and make it look really nice and crisp. Liberator armour is also used on the gold to give it that edge highlight that we're all after. Then again, finally the base. The goat doesn't really add too much difference in colour, so I am going to go with the more vibrant tufts again. I got some kind of flowery ones and nice bushes and stuff, because the goats have a bigger base, so it's easier to fit these in. Don't be scared to just plonk these on top of the stones, it'll look absolutely fine. You'll notice the base rim has also been done with Moonfang Brown after I dumped it in the base ready material. Again, we don't judge this boy on his own, we add him into the group of goats. You might be wondering why 2 of them have shields, but that's because these 2 are captains. I think these have turned out quite well. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick and simple recipe for Iron Hills. Just a short one today, as there isn't really much to it. None of the usual silliness, but the next video will more than make up for that. If you're wanting to maybe add a splash of colour, you could add some flowery tufts, or you could change the shields, or I was even thinking you could change the gold trim for a different colour, maybe like a red or something. I think that might look quite good. All that's left of the video is to show you some final shots. I have unfortunately already posted the first half of this commission, so some of the photos are a bit crap because I had to download them from Facebook Messenger, which tanks the quality because for some reason I deleted them off my phone. Also means I won't have any footage of them all together as a one big unit. Anyway, the usual YouTube spiel: like, comment, subscribe. Share it with your friends. Let me know how you would have done it differently. If you would have done it differently, do you plan on getting any Iron Hills in the future? I would love an Iron Hills army, but it's going to be a while before I can face paint any more of them. There's another future project for you. Anyway, I'll see you later guys. Let's roll some photos. Thanks for watching everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember to give my bell a good old ring. Wow. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, all the usual YouTube fucking doorbell. Are you fucking kidding me on? I swear that Amazon woman, man, see if you're not at the door within 2 seconds of the bell going, she's fucking halfway down the street and you need to chase her, man. That's like, honest to God. Right, now, where was I? Right guys, if I want to get to my workstation, I need to pay the rabbit tax to get past. What's the toll today? 1 grape? Will that do? Cheers pal, see you next week. Just relax guys, it's just a little bit of Stormhost silver. Didn't actually huff the paint. Yet. Let's get that out of the way. Alright guys, today I'm going to show... Fuck. I've already forgot. Alright guys, today I'm going to show... Oh, not this again. So, as I was saying in my base coat, So, as I was saying in my batch painting episode that I just released, it was like 3 weeks ago, I like to incorporate as much of the model. I like to incorporate as much of the base. I like to paint a model the same, so it makes sense to just start with an. So it makes sense just to start with a. So it makes sense to just start with a fucking fuck face fanny rash fuck. So it makes sense to start with fucking a brain, right? Right, I've been told I need to step up my thumbnail game, so how do I make this as clickbaity as possible? Absolute. You won't believe this Iron Hills recipe. Oh, I can't, it's too much. I think that's just too much, I don't think I can do it. You'll never guess what I used to make this Iron Hill. Oh. It's just so cringy, man. I'll do the photos first, I suppose. Oh, so what should I do for the face then? so much. But it needs to be done, man. Don't hate the player. Hate the fucking game, man. Human psychology, it fucking works.
Oh, Bucky. You fucking little prick. It's fucking brand new carpet. You are an absolute arsehole, you know that? Huh? No shame? No shame? You still after treats even though you've done that? No treats for you. Brand new carpet. Get away from me. I'm fucking disappointed in you, mate.